वेलकम टू दिस एपिसोड ऑफ द हरप्रीत सिंह शो। आज दे सेगमेंट में ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਬੌਬ ਰੌਰਿਸਨ ਨਾਲ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਹਨ ਮੈਡ ਮਦਰਸ ਅਗੇਂਸਟ ਡਰੰਕ ਡਰਾਈਵਿੰਗ। ਇਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਿਆ, ਇਹ ਸੰਸਥਾ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੇਤਨਾ ਲਿਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇੰਪੇਅਰ ਡਰਾਈਵਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਕੀ ਮਾੜੇ ਇਫੈਕਟਸ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ। ਆਓ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣੇ ਆ ਬੌਬ ਰੌਰਿਸਨ ਤੋਂ। ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ।
Thank you.
Thank you. So Bob, a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved with MADD?
I got involved with MADD because I was involved in a crash in 1994.
Okay.
And that crash destroyed my life. It certainly hurt me physically, but the aftermath, the emotional, the physical, and the legal trauma, and not only that, the financial loss just destroyed my life. I lost everything I owned, and I went to court to try and recover from that, and there was no recovery.
Okay.
So I got mad, and I found this group in New Westminster, and they started in the mid-90s, and they had many other folks that had gone through similar circumstances.
Right.
So they took me in, and I started to get involved, and I began to see how wrong the system is.
Right.
The system does not help people that are victimized by a drunk driver, either the criminal system or the civil system.
Right.
People that are victims forever, and they rarely recover. And I felt that because of the circumstances and all of the bad things that happened to me, that I can help maybe just by coming involved with MADD. It's really hard to do things yourself.
Absolutely.
So when you become involved with a group and you do it collectively, that you have more of a voice. So
that's why you got involved.
Absolutely.
Okay. So tell us in details about this organization MADD. When did it come into existence, and basically what is its mandate?
The original organization MADD started in California, and that was in the 1980s.
Okay.
And that was as a result of a lady that lost her daughter to a drunk driving crash, and similar things, bad circumstances, criminal law, civil law, and she was really angry. Not only that, she lost her daughter. So, and then it evolved, it became national in the United States. And in the 90s, early 90s, organizations within Canada started to develop. RAD and student organizations and other mothers and fathers organizations.
Right.
And in about the mid-90s, somebody decided that we can't just have random organizations all across Canada, because collectively they can't do very much. So they started to join these organizations together. And the original group that was in New Westminster had the MADD name.
Okay.
From the US.
Right.
It's a copyright name, so they had the copyright to use that name. So they made arrangements, and then they became MADD Canada.
Okay.
And the MADD Canada is in Toronto area, Scarborough area.
Okay.
And they've been in existence for well over 20 years.
Right.
And have developed a lot of policy, a lot of procedure, and have developed a lot of help for victims.
Okay. So is it a volunteer-based organization? Where does the funding come from? What all is the mandate?
The funding comes from donations from sponsors, either individual private sponsors or from large organizations.
Okay.
We very rarely, if ever, take money from government because we don't want to be known as a political organization.
Right.
We're not.
Okay.
We take money from automobile companies, from national insurance companies, from tow truck companies, people that see the devastation caused by impaired driving.
Right.
And they see that they want to help.
Right.
So their way of helping is to provide some money.
So Bob, how serious is this issue of impaired driving and drunken driving?
Well, impaired driving encapsulates everything.
Right.
Whether it's drinking, which, I mean, it started out because of drinking and driving.
Right.
And drinking and driving, it's still a serious issue. But not only that, nowadays, there's an issue about drug driving. Because people are using various drugs and still driving, and they think it's okay, but it's not.
Okay.
Your ability to drive is impaired considerably by the use of, well, marijuana, for example, which is much in the headlines, but there's other types of drugs, and there's even legal drugs. People take drugs for having a cold, or they take heart medication and all those sorts of things. Well, they do affect your ability to drive. So we need to make people aware of that.
Right.
So, and how do you measure that?
Right.
So we just got to take precautions when you're using medications for medical purposes.
Right.
Some drug will react against another drug. You could get a dizzy spell behind the wheel.
Okay.
If you're, say, a senior, you're 80, you're in an intersection and you've just taken some drugs, and all of a sudden the whole world goes wonky and you're in an intersection, the possibility of having a crash is very high.
That's right.
And not only will you injure yourself, you could injure other innocent people.
So how do you try to create awareness? What means are adopted by MADD to tell the people the dangers of drunk driving?
One way is coming to media events just like this and being invited. Another way is we have a Red Ribbon campaign in the fall, which is highly publicized.
Right.
The media always attend, and we always get the police and fire and other organizations involved. And usually we hold it at a city hall. The last 3 years it's been at Surrey City Hall. This year we're going to do it at Vancouver City Hall.
Okay.
And we also have a Strides for Change event. Strides is just another run.
Right.
But not just another run, we call it a run walk, because some people that are injured by drinking driving or impaired driving are in a wheelchair. Well, they can't run 10 kilometers anymore, so they can get pushed or whatever. You know, or some people are on canes, and some people, you know, just don't have the ability to walk long distances. So, so we accommodate for that in our run, and that's called Strides, as in walking, Strides for Change.
Right.
Yeah. So
Are there also any special campaigns whereby, for example, during Christmas season when the people are drunk, does MADD provide services for driving or other things?
Well, no, we haven't done that.
Okay.
And often I've felt like doing that as an individual, because there are other, like the, what's the name of the campaign where they drive? The reindeer organization. No, we don't do that.
Okay. So yours is basically focused on creating awareness, and awareness is through going to the media or publishing booklets like this.
Creating awareness about drinking and driving.
Right.
Our mission is to stop impaired driving.
Right.
And whether it's impaired by alcohol or drugs or anything.
Right.
Stop impaired driving, make people aware that if they have something in their system, not to drive. And there's no reason to drive.
But it's a major challenge these days. Over the years, what are you finding? Like earlier it used to be just alcohol, and as you mentioned, now different kind of drugs coming forward.
That's right.
So it's becoming a problem right now, and especially with the youngsters. So is there any campaign which is focused primarily on the youngsters, that yes, we should be careful?
We have a national campaign about marijuana.
Okay.
And it's very light, and it just says, well, if you're impaired by marijuana, you're impaired too.
Right.
And you've probably heard it. It plays over and over again, and there are other organizations that play similar TV and radio.
So Bob, what would you rate your organization as? How much dent has been able to make in creating awareness? Are you satisfied with the work which is being done, or you feel something more also needs to be done? And along with that, what can the community do for this?
I'm very satisfied. MADD has made tremendous impact. It's saved hundreds of thousands of lives over the 20 years it's been in existence. Am I satisfied that it stopped drinking and driving or impaired driving?
Right.
No, I'm not, because people are still doing it.
Right.
And until everyone doesn't drink impaired or doesn't drive impaired, then we haven't met our mandate.
Right. So how can the community be a part of this solution?
The community can advertise, the community can promote, and the other part of our mission is not only to stop impaired driving, but to help victims.
Right.
And you can see we have booklets here that help victims through the criminal justice system, through the civil justice system, and not only provide awareness about what's happening to them. You know, I just met a lady, a family this weekend who lost their daughter. I met a lady 2 years ago who lost both her sons in one crime, her only sons. They died. They are devastated. They don't know how to manage. And society really doesn't take them in anymore. Somebody says we're not Canadians anymore, we're Martians, because we act differently, we react differently, we don't know how to manage in our life anymore, because
Absolutely.
a big part of our life is gone. So we help victims.
Right, wonderful. And if anyone wants more information, where can they get it?
Go to madd.ca. All of the MADD chapters across Canada are on madd.ca, or 1-800-665-6233. 1-800-665-MADD.
It was a pleasure talking to you, Bob. Thank you for your time, and I hope this message goes across and people in large numbers understand what are the ramifications of impaired driving, and they get realized that we also need to contribute back to the community by creating awareness. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So जो ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਬੌਬ ਮੌਰਿਸਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਹਨ, ਇਹ ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟਰ ਹਨ ਮੈਡ ਦੇ, ਮਦਰਸ ਅਗੇਂਸਟ ਡਰੰਕ ਡਰਾਈਵਿੰਗ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਨਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ 20 ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਸਥਾਪਿਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ, ਪਰ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਮਤਲਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਸਿਰਫ ਲੇਡੀਜ਼ ਹੀ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਅੱਗੇ ਆ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਰਦ ਵੀ ਹਨ, ਯੂਥ ਵੀ ਹੈ, ਬੱਚੇ ਵੀ ਹਨ, ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਖ ਮਕਸਦ ਹੈ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਅਵੇਅਰਨੈਸ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਕਿ ਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਪੀ ਕੇ ਜਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਡਰੱਗਸ ਖਾ ਕੇ ਗੱਡੀ ਨਾ ਚਲਾਓ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ ਸਕਰੀਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ, ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਅਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਪਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਬਣ ਕੇ।